The village of Al-Hijaz, a tapestry of ochre hues and sun-bleached stone, nestled within a desolate, windswept valley of the Arabian desert. It was a place where time moved slowly. Life was harsh, unforgiving, yet a sense of community thrived. However, a shadow lingered, a darkness rooted in the legend of the Layla Tree. At the edge of the village, perched atop a sand dune, stood this solitary sentinel, the Layla Tree, gnarled and ancient, its branches twisted like the limbs of a tormented soul. A dried and cracked well, long abandoned, rested at its base. The villagers whispered tales. They spoke of love and betrayal, of a curse that seeped from the very roots of the tree. They said that promises whispered beneath its branches held a terrible power, a power that could bind the living and the dead. Layla was known for her gentle touch. A healer, she tended to the sick and wounded. Her heart overflowed with compassion. Her laugh, like the tinkling of a desert spring, could chase away the darkest shadows. Omar, the village blacksmith, was a man of fire and strength. His forge echoed with the rhythm of his hammer, his spirit as unyielding as the iron he molded. Their paths crossed often, at the well where Layla collected water for her healing tinctures, at the forge where Omar, mesmerized by her beauty, would fashion trinkets for her. With each stolen glance, each shared laugh, love blossomed. It was a love born under the unforgiving desert sun, as pure and fragile as a desert rose. One starlit night, Omar led Layla to the crest of the dune. The Layla tree loomed above them, its shadow a sprawling silhouette against the moonlit sand. Its leaves rustled softly, like whispers in the wind. Here, beneath its branches, Omar, his voice husky with emotion, confessed his love for Layla. He vowed to love her forever, to protect her from all harm. Layla, her eyes shimmering with tears, whispered her love in return. Their promises echoed in the stillness of the night, binding their hearts together. They were oblivious to the silent, watchful presence of the Layla tree, unaware that their words were seeping into its bark, absorbed by its roots. A year passed, filled with stolen moments and whispered promises. Then, a caravan arrived from the north, bringing with it tales of a distant city, a city of dazzling wealth and untold opportunities. Omar, his head filled with dreams of a better life, was seduced by the allure of the unknown. He decided to leave Al-Hijaz to seek his fortune in the distant city. He promised Layla he would return. He swore it on the very spot where they had pledged their love. That night, a storm of unprecedented fury descended upon Al-Hijaz. The wind howled like a banshee, tearing at the village. Lightning struck the Layla tree, splitting its trunk in two. Underneath its tortured branches, the well ran dry. Layla, her heart shattered by Omar's betrayal, wept, her tears mingled with the rain seeping into the wounded earth. Section 5. The Weeping Tree and the Spectral Bride. The storm subsided. Dawn revealed a transformed Al-Hijaz. The village was scarred, the well dry. But it was the Layla tree that drew all eyes. From its wounded bark, a sap wept. Thick and viscous, it glistened like tears under the desert sun. And in its branches, swaying gently in the breeze, was a sight that chilled the villagers to the bone. A white, gossamer gown, identical to the one Layla had worn on the night Omar pledged his love. Empty yet swaying, as if inhabited by an unseen presence. The villagers whispered in hushed tones. Layla was gone, vanished without a trace. Only her sorrow remained, clinging to the tree like a shroud. The Layla tree had become a haunting testament to a love betrayed. Years turned into decades. Omar did not find fortune in the distant city. His dreams turned to dust. Haunted by his betrayal, he was plagued by nightmares. Visions of Layla, her eyes filled with sorrow, tormented his waking hours. The guilt gnawed at him. The city held no allure. He had to return to Al-Hijaz to seek forgiveness. He arrived at the village, a shell of his former self. The villagers, their faces etched with a mixture of fear and anger, told him of Layla's disappearance, of the weeping tree and the ghostly gown. He rushed to the dune, his heart pounding in his chest. He stood before the Layla tree, its branches reaching towards him like accusing fingers. And there, swaying gently in the breeze, was Layla's gown. He fell to his knees, consumed by remorse and despair. Omar lived out his days in Al-Hijaz, a shadow of his former self. He would spend hours beneath the Layla tree, whispering apologies into the wind. He swore he could hear Layla's voice carried on the breeze. He was shunned by the villagers, his presence a constant reminder of their shared loss. Some nights, when the moon hung heavy in the sky, villagers passing the dunes swore they saw figures beneath the Layla tree, a man and a woman locked in a spectral embrace. Their laughter, filled with both joy and sorrow, would echo in the night, sending chills down their spines. The Layla tree was no longer just a tree. It was a conduit, a bridge between the world of the living and the realm of the dead. The villagers of Al-Hijaz avoided the Layla tree. It became a taboo subject, its story passed down through generations as a cautionary tale, a reminder of the devastating power of broken promises. Yet despite their fear, the tree held a dark allure. For those burdened with guilt, it became a macabre shrine, a place to confess their sins, to beg for forgiveness from those they had wronged. They would leave offerings at its base, trinkets, flowers, whispered confessions carried on the wind. Some claimed to find solace in its shadow, a sense of shared grief. Others claimed to hear whispers in the rustling leaves, voices from beyond the veil. Generations passed, the Layla tree remained, a stark reminder of the enduring power of love, loss, and the consequences of betrayal. Its bark, gnarled and twisted, seemed to bear the weight of countless unspoken apologies. The whispers in the wind continued, a chorus of broken hearts echoing through the ages, and carved into its trunk, a testament to its enduring legacy, were names, hundreds of names, lovers who had betrayed, hearts that had been broken. The Layla tree stood as a silent guardian, a sentinel of the desert, forever bound to the legend of Layla and Omar, a stark reminder that some promises, once broken, could never truly be mended. Their love and the curse it wrought would forever be intertwined with the fate of Al-Hijaz.